about now, Jay. C-Dub on the beat. Back against the wall, CL20's knocking rated. IGI's tripping, validated, shoot ready. Brown incarceration, got my people living daily. Gang wars,
hey, yo, what's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed. And like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Man, dude, I'm disappointed right now. I had 15 or 16 videos that I did, bangers, for you guys. And just something happened. Just know they got lost. They're not even in my iCloud. I can't even recover them no more. So I'm like, damn. So now I'm starting to scratch. This is my first video. And I had a 3-part series that I'm just going to put into one for you guys about Pomona 12th Street Sharkies. And I'm just going to give it to you all on the basis. Because I did it in 3 different videos for you guys. You know, build anticipation. And now I just got to pretty much just go over everything that I did. Thank God I saved some of the notes, not all of them. And I got to get back on the hustle twice as hard. So minor setback for a major comeback. Let's get into it. So I want to talk to you guys about Pomona 12th Street Sharkies. Particularly a case that when I came across it, it's very disturbing. So viewer discretion is advised. But you have this person right here. His name is Knuckles. He was from Pomona 12th Street Sharkies. The boy got life without the possibility of parole for numerous situations that occurred in the streets of Pomona. Now, obviously, joining Pomona 12th Street Sharkies, even though it's ran by Pomona Mike, the first crimes that I'm about to talk about weren't committed on behalf of the Mexican Mafia and Pomona Mike himself. But the second part, I think so. I think they really encouraged this kid to target the black community and go after the blacks. And he did it. Uneducated, misguided, misled by improper leadership. And he was led to cleanse his neighborhood. A little crusade that they had going on. And we all know that neighborhoods in Southern California have done it to the blacks, and we also know that black neighborhoods have done it to the Southerners down there as well. Very disgusting war when it becomes racial instead of gang. But either way, it's the same circumstance of violence that needs to be combated. Knuckles took 2 people's lives for this right here, for whacking out his name and whacking out his hood. And that's the crazy thing about the gang aspect and the gang lifestyle is that you know how many people die by tagging on their neighborhoods? Or whacking out each other's neighborhoods? Just tagging on different videos? That's an instigating situation where, hey, I'm going to go to my rival's neighborhood. I'm going to tag my placazo to let them know I did it. Well, first of all, you did it on the wall when nobody was around. Then you left it there and left. You know, if you're going to be cool about it and you want to be a thug, tag on there and then post there for like 5 hours until somebody sees it. Like, yeah, I did this. My nice artwork. You like it? No, this dude was tagging Knuckles, P12th Street, Sharkies gang, all over the place. All over the place, you name it. And the part of the story that trips me out is that somebody that he was beefing with, a rival neighborhood, they went around whacking out his particular name and his particular hit up. And that's the crazy part about it, is that people are dying over gang graffiti. People take pride in their graffiti as in how they write their name, the lettering, the calligraphy, the bombing. We all know about the tagger wars that go on in the streets of Southern California and all around the world. And it's gotten so extreme that taggers, tag bangers, become gang members, adopt numbers, and start working for big homies. And then it becomes brutal wars over not just tagging on the wall. Now it becomes political. So he finds out that his stuff is getting whacked out. And what does he do? He calls up one of his little homies. And he's like, hey, I'm going to go look for this fool. Dude lived with his grandma at the time. And they jump on some bikes and they start looking around. So he knew that he had hit up somewhere. And he went over there and was like, I'm going to wait right here until somebody comes and whacks out my hood and whacks out my name. And sure enough, man, by the stroke of luck, somebody decided to show up, 2 kids. And they had spray cans. And with those spray cans, they started whacking his hood out in the middle of the dark in some alley. Well, Knuckles jumps out with a .22 caliber rifle. And so does his homie. And they bang on them dudes. Them dudes had nothing but spray cans. But they knew who Knuckles was. They knew he was a 15, 16-year-old kid that was just thugged out. Willing to murder somebody over a gang hit up. Well, they managed to shoot the one dude that was tagging over his stuff. Just gunned him down right there. But that dude's friend, the victim's friend, runs. So they start chasing old boy. He makes it to some little location where they can't spot him. He's hiding behind a garage. But what's very unfortunate about this circumstance is that a woman walks out going to work. And it was during December 15th. She was going either to work, or they said in the documentations in court that she was going Christmas shopping. And they assumed it was the suspect that they were chasing that was tagging up their hood, and they gunned her down. Some might want to say it was accidental because he just assumed it was somebody else. But regardless, a lady was going to work or going Christmas shopping for her grandkids, and he gunned her down because he thought she was somebody else over somebody whacking out his neighborhood. Now, Knuckles later on down the road gets arrested, but they don't have no evidence to link him to these two murders. So he winds up getting mistrial after mistrial, makes it home because they don't have nothing on him to pin him and connect him to that murder, those double murders right there. So he goes on a killing spree. Why? Because somebody decided to give orders to Pomona 12th Street to start cleansing their neighborhood and start targeting black communities. Why I say that? Because they found a notebook when he finally got arrested and was charged with multiple cases. He was saying some derogatory words about the certain ethnic group, and killer, using the N-word, writing rap lyrics about the crimes he committed and what weapons he used. You know, he wanted to be a rapper, Timothy McGee. Sorry about that. But so he goes on a shooting spree. Goes to a suburban neighborhood outside of the ghetto and sees a random black kid just walking. And what does he do? Sal, who later on turns him in and just tells on him for everything, right? They start driving around in Sal's mom's white vehicle. And he knows what Knuckles' intentions are. And on multiple occasions, he took this kid to go drive around and gun people down. Gunning innocent black kids down. Because nowhere in the court documents does it even stipulate that these kids were even connected to gangs. Because there was one occasion he showed up to an industrial area in Pomona. And there was a group of blacks that were out there working. Not gangbanging, working or looking for work. And they pulled up and he waved a 38 at them. But the blacks managed to run and get away. And in doing so, they were able to report that they seen two Hispanic males targeting the black community with weapons, attempting to take lives of the black community with weapons. So the cops know all this, but they don't understand what's going on, why Mexicans are trying to target the blacks. You know, law enforcement does get a hold of information. Confidential informants give up information. They don't understand what's going on until a shooting happens by Pep Boys. They're driving to a smoke shop and they're going to buy something, like a pipe they wanted to buy, but they didn't want to buy it anyways. Well, Knuckles sees at the bus stop a group of blacks. So he tells his homeboy to park in the car. And Sal said he didn't know what was going on. And Knuckles gets out the vehicle wearing a red Pendleton and shows up at that bus stop, starts saying derogatory words to get the blacks' attention, and starts gunning for them and starts shooting people down. Well, witnesses got a partial of the license plate. Witnesses did see a Mexican kid shooting at blacks wearing a red Pendleton, and they managed to get away. They drove to the highway where Knuckles was throwing bullets out the window, shell casings. And honestly, the law enforcement, when they heard about that, due to Sal giving up that information, they went to the highway, shut down traffic, and recovered a lot of shell casings that were used in multiple shootings, including a murder of a black kid. The reason why they pulled Sal over is because they had a partial of the license plate, and they seen the partial of the license plate, they seen the description of the vehicle, but Sal was the only one in there. And Knuckles buried the 38 in a secret compartment in the car and left the gun there. So Sal goes in interrogation and just gives it up. I drove Knuckles here. I drove Knuckles over here. I was present for this. He did this. I didn't know what was going on. I don't know why he's shooting at blacks. He was shooting at blacks because his big homies in his neighborhood felt like it was necessary to encourage a 15-year-old kid to start gunning down blacks to cleanse their neighborhood. And that's the part that bothers me about this whole subject, right? Because I read multiple cases. I read about the avenues and a couple other videos. And trust me, when I find case laws and court papers that indicate blacks were doing it to Mexicans, I'm going to tell those videos too. I'm not biased whatsoever. What I'm doing is showcasing how the level of violence that could escalate, no matter if it's turf wars, gang wars, violence over women, especially when it becomes racial, how dangerous this lifestyle really is. So Sal gives up Knuckles. Knuckles was staying at Sal and his mom's house, and they found evidence, a baseball bat, the clothes he was wearing during the murder at the bus stop. They found all the evidence that they need, including that notebook where he is admitting to these crimes in raps. With the testimony of Sal, there was a lot of mistrials. They had to go back to back trying to convict the little kid. We're talking about a 15 to 17-year-old kid who was taught as a kid because he wanted to earn respect and honor from his neighborhood. Imagine your neighborhood teaching you this as a kid. Hey, bro, when you bang your hood and you put your placazo right there, it's with pride, bro. You represent your neighborhood when you put your neighborhood with your name. But the moment somebody whacks that out for, they're disrespecting the barrio. They're disrespecting you as a person. That makes you less of a man. So you need to go retaliate and gun down who did that to your neighborhood, who did that to your hit up, who did that to your name, who's disrespecting you. You know how many kids out there take pride in going around tagging graffiti all over people's neighborhoods? Destroying communities, destroying people's homes. Imagine having a home and you just put a nice fence around, but it just happens to be on a ghetto neighborhood, in a gang-infested neighborhood. And your fence looks brand new. It's white. So they decided to put black graffiti all over to represent their neighborhood. Nobody cares about the damage they do to other people's property, to other people's businesses. You know, business owners got to pay to get it painted over and clean up their neighborhoods. We're going to see that a lot. Most importantly, you're going to see a lot of beautiful cities like Los Angeles, bro. Everywhere you drive, there's hit-ups everywhere, graffiti everywhere. You know, Los Angeles is a beautiful city when you take that aspect out. So much things to do, so much to live for, so much stuff that could be done. You know, you can live a great life in that city alone. But a lot of these kids don't care about their cities. But yet they care about their neighborhoods and their cities so much that they'll get it tatted on them. They'll go defame and destroy other people's property. I'm sorry if I used the word defame wrong. They'll go around destroying other people's property, hitting stuff up. You know, they're just doing tagging. They look at it like an art form, a representation of who they are and where they're from. These kids are willing to die for that city, willing to gun for that city, willing to kill people and innocent bystanders along in the process for a hit up for their city that they're destroying every day anyways, by selling dope, by making people become homeless because they're drug addicts, so you feed their drug habits so you can get rich, creating meth labs, tagging all over neighborhoods, shooting at people and not killing them but hitting homes and hitting businesses. You know, you love your city so much you're willing to die for it, but you're not willing to protect it like that. They think protecting their neighborhood is gangbanging and gunning for their neighborhood, but in reality it's not. You're not protecting businesses from getting hit up and destroying their businesses and having their businesses destroyed by beer runs, people constantly stealing from them. They're doing nothing to protect their community or protect their neighborhood other than destroying it. But they don't see that they're destroying it. They just see it as, I'm representing it. And you're not doing nothing for your neighborhood whatsoever to benefit it. So it's not even worth representing a neighborhood and hitting up a neighborhood and killing for a neighborhood when you don't do nothing for your neighborhood other than the worst aspects of life, which is killing people over it and destroying it from within. That's all these dudes that gangbang nowadays. That's how I see it now. We didn't do nothing for my hood. We just scared people, made people not want to let their kids go out outside at night, made their kids not want to go to school because they have to walk past gang members. You know, parents have to live with that. Their kids are going to recreational centers, want to go to park and live life, but at that park there's drug dealers and there's gang members that are going to influence them to join gangs and force them to shoot people and force them to do drugs. Being part of a neighborhood, you do nothing for your neighborhood. This kid didn't do nothing for his neighborhood besides kill an innocent woman that went grocery shopping or Christmas shopping and kill some other kid because they thought it was cool to whack out somebody else's tagging and tag their own neighborhood. They're killing one another over just some writings on the wall. What a spray can you can buy from Walmart or wherever you get a spray can from. What that can do by spraying on a wall. You know, people diss hoods in certain ways with certain phrases. You put that on a wall and you put your name right there. You just became a target from a whole neighborhood that's willing to kill you over what you just sprayed on a wall. They devalue life and don't appreciate life and don't even know the meaning of life. Because this kid was 15, 17. He don't even know what life was. Doesn't even know what life consists of. Doesn't know the meaning of life because he hasn't lived yet. Still live with his grandma. But it was okay for him and okay for Pomona Sharkies to encourage him to gun people down over graffiti that was on the wall. Over his hood and his name getting whacked out. That is a sign of ultimate disrespect. That's what they teach kids nowadays. That it's okay to lose your life for your neighborhood as long as you take another life in the process. you should be good. And for him to go around targeting the black community as if just gunning down a certain ethnic group, a certain nationality is going to clean a neighborhood up, we've seen that it doesn't work like that. We've seen how people are willing to fight back if they have to, because people have bared arms against gangs that were willing trying to do this. It is so impossible to do. You're not going to rid a nationality of its existence or your neighborhood. Even though some people have told me it happened in the past. It's a pathetic excuse and a pathetic reason to go around gunning people. But yet his neighborhood was okay with it. His big homie that controls the streets of Pomona was okay with it. So I'm going to be the one to say that none of us were okay with it. Yeah, this happened a very long time ago, but situations like this will continue to arise because these kids take so much sense of pride in tagging up a wall, tagging up a name. Bro, it's just letters. It means nothing. That nickname they give you, bro, you ain't going to use that nickname at a job or on a resume. You're not going to use that nickname when they book you in the county jail, when they book you in the CDCR. You're just going to be a booking number. That's all your life is going to be worth. So I wanted to share that story with you guys, man. It's a crazy story about Pomona 12th Street Sharkies. You can read the book by Ronald Bowers. It's a very interesting book. The dude does a lot of book about Los Angeles because he's a district attorney down there that retired. So he has a lot of incredible stories to tell. So with that being said, like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Peace.